The party is in full swing and everyone is having a good time, including me. Now, there is, I think, a secret ingredient to making sure a party is stress-free, and that's by making food that is simple but sumptuous. You can't have a drinks party without a drink, and my cocktail of choice is Filthy Fizz. Why wouldn't it be? Bowlfuls of tender turkey meatballs in tomato sauce ensure that guests and hosts are filled with seasonal goodwill. I do the rounds most happily with some grilled halloumi and beetroot, seasonally coloured on radicchio leaves. I could never, ever throw a party without some cocktail sausages, and this year they're flavoured with ginger and whole grain mustard and served in scooped-out loaves. There's always room for something sweet, and I want black beer gingerbread with a light snowy dusting of icing sugar. But now, I'm off to party. I really enjoy getting started on the food the evening before, not least for the reassuring sense of calm that settles upon me. I'm making some little bubby turkey meatballs in tomato sauce, and that's 500 grams of minced turkey. On top of that, 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. Now, you can either make fresh breadcrumbs yourself, or you can buy them in a sealed packet. You want the same amount, 3 tablespoons, of grated parmesan. I want half a teaspoon of dried thyme, and I want a teaspoon of Worcester sauce. We always called it Worcestershire when I was a child, and I find it very hard not to call it that now, although I know it makes me sound very silly. And about 2 spoonfuls of a sort of minced onion and celery mix. I wouldn't use heavy machinery just for 2 spoonfuls of onion, but I wanted more for my sauce, about which more later. My final ingredient, an egg. In it goes. Just mix everything together. If you want to wear, what I call CSI gloves, you can. But I'm very happy doing it by hand, just like this. In fact, I love it, like getting my hands dirty. Doesn't look like very much, this mixture, does it? But I can get a good 50 meatballs out of this. They are small, and that's part of their charm. I know it looks like tedious work, but it isn't. Well, that's to say, I find a bit of mindless, repetitive activity to be immensely calming. I've got some tomato sauce bubbling away, ready to take these tender little beauties. I made that a bit earlier. Well, I had chopped some onion and celery, just 1 onion and 1 stick of celery, pretty finely in the processor. You can do it by hand if you want, obviously. And then I sauteed them a little in some garlic oil. I put in a couple of tins of chopped plum tomatoes, some water, about half full in each of the tomato tins, along with a teaspoon of dried thyme, a generous pinch of salt and sugar to taste, really, and that's it. Well, we have a moment of glorious synchronicity. All the meatballs are done, the sauce is ready and bubbling away very cheerfully. So we can unite the two. Now they're so small, these, to be honest, I think 15 to 20 minutes of bubbling away, they'll be ready. And they go, look at them, these pale pretties. They will be more properly submerged later, but for now, just drop them in. Now I give a gentle stir only. I just want all of them to get the heat of the pan, although you may find it easier just to spoon bits of the sauce over the meatballs. Once these have cooked and I've cleaned up a bit, I can let these chill down and I can do a bit of pottering in the pantry. Boom, 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 boom. At this time of year, my pantry becomes my grotto and the shelves are seasonally stacked. These are some marron glacé, like candied chestnuts, which I adore. This is some chestnut puree. This for me is the taste of Christmas. I've got my little red, white and green sprinkles for scattering on almost anything. I was given this one year as a Christmas present from a friend, and it is a candle cutter. She thought I would never use it. Proved her wrong. More of that later. Got lovely festive tableware over there. This time of year, these throwaway foil baking trays or roasting tins are incredibly useful. Real lifesaver. I'm going to take one now for my black beer gingerbread, and I need as well my deeply aromatic seasonal spices. The thing about gingerbread is that it's comfort food, but chic at the same time. And as far as I'm concerned, that makes it perfect for a party at this time of the year. And especially so, I feel, with my black beer gingerbread. That's 150 grams of butter in there. It's very easy, this recipe. Just bung it in a pan. On top of that, I want 300 grams of the most gorgeously gleaming golden syrup. After the golden syrup, 200 grams of dark muscovado sugar, and I mean dark. Let's get the heat on now. Start melting it. Right. This batter is a liquid one, and it's going to get even runnier because I'm adding some black beer, in other words stout, 250 millilitres. Bottoms up. This gingerbread has got an almost licoricey taste, and I think that's down to the stout. Just going to change my spatula for a whisk, still saying seasonally hued, because I want to add the flour, and if I whisk it, it'll stop getting lumpy. So I want 300 grams, 2 cup measures if you're using a standard baking measure. The stout, the syrup and the sugar are all 1 cupful. I want 2 teaspoons of bicarb, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, this is gingerbread, and 1/4 teaspoon, a little goes a long way, of ground cloves. And it's this really that has that incredible scent of the season. You know it's Christmas when you can smell a gingerbread being made, and I love that. So that's off the heat and standing. I'm going to get on with forking together the sour cream, 300 millilitres. And the sour cream really adds to the tang along with the stout. And now, a couple of eggs. Just crack it in. Although this is rich and dark and melting, the thing about the gingerbread, it's also light, and I think it's the sour cream and the eggs that help that. Let's get rid of this. And the batter, look at this beautiful brown, which will get darker as it bakes. And it needs 45 minutes at 170, so a moderately low oven, which is always better for damp cakes. And in it goes. I can't wait to luxuriate in the heady, spicy scent of this as it cooks. And while it's in the oven, I can take stock of the seasonal situation.
You better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
I firmly believe that there are 2 types of people in the world. There are list makers, and there are those who somehow stumble through their life without making lists. I couldn't do anything without making a list. Let's see where I've got to. Have I accomplished anything? Yes, I have. I've made the turkey meatballs in tomato sauce. I have, like the ticking off. Okay, get out spices and foil trays. Yes to spices, Yes to foil trays. Make gingerbread. Yes. Time for tea. Tea. Wine. Yes. Now, I know there's quite a lot left, but the thing is, I write such a ridiculously detailed, idiot-proof list that it could go on for many pages and they probably only have about 3 things to do. Anyway, what I need to do now is just check my gingerbread is ready to come out of the oven. Ah, what scented candle could compete with this? Fantastic. Now, let's see. It's got a bit of bounce. Perfect. Now, these meatballs. Just gonna pinch one quickly. They're even good cold. Right. I can put these in the fridge. Feeling very productive, but calm. That's good. Okay, well, I think I have earned my lie-in. The day of the party has dawned. I'm feeling bright and breezy. I've already put the drinks in the fridge to chill. I'm making a cocktail called Filthy Fizz, and the fizz in question is pink Prosecco. Prosecco known in my house for its life-enhancing qualities as Prosecco, so that's done. Water, very necessary. I am an aquaholic. And, oh yeah, a bit of cooking to do, but otherwise, for now, I'm going to go and gather some nuts. While I love to cook up a party, I have absolutely nothing against a bit of selective shopping. And in fact, I'm on my way now to an establishment that specialises in nuts, all too appropriate for this time of year. Ooh. Hello.
Hiya.
Now the hard part is choosing which nuts I go for. Can I start with those corn nuts, please? I love those, and they're very beautiful as well. And those crunchy nuts that look like acorns.
Yeah, of course.
They really are crunchy. Now, I know I can't claim the idea of buying nuts for a party as divine revelation, but that doesn't mean to say I want them to be ordinary. And anyway, coming to a shop like this makes me feel like I'm gathering treasure rather than just slapping bags in a trolley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. I don't think I've ever given a party where I haven't served up some version of a sausage, and I never will. Cocktail sausages are my favourite. Each year I try and outdo myself in adding some new glaze or way to cook them. And this year I'm favouring a ginger and whole grain mustard approach. I love a burnished stack of cocktail sausages. For me, it says the festivities are in full flow. So those are the sausages. Now the glaze. I want ginger conserve, sometimes called ginger jam. And if you can't get ginger jam, you could use some orange marmalade. I think I'd go for slightly fine shred and add either some freshly grated ginger or some ground ginger. And now some whole grain mustard, also 100 grams. There's something about the peppery sweetness of the jam against the vinegary graininess of the mustard that really works. About a tablespoon of soy sauce and the same of garlic infused oil. You don't need much oil because of the sausages. After all, the sausages have got plenty of fat of their own, which is why they taste so delicious. And anyway, I don't want the glaze to be too thick because I don't want it to burn as the sausages cook. So a light coating, a light but flavoursome coating. So just squelch around, squelching in excitement. Right, these are done. I shall pop them in the fridge, ready to be cooked a little while later. My beetroot dressing is really a puce-coloured puree that I use to anoint some salty, griddled halloumi. Tip these straight into the blender. Got to snip very carefully here so as to avoid a touch of the Lady Macbeths. And a quick blitz to make them into smooth and silky puree. Just want to add some lime juice, and it's odd because I absolutely hate it when beetroot is cooked with vinegar, but I love a spritz of lime juice. I measure randomly. Bit of salt, be careful here. Sorry darling, little, go steady. And a blitz again. So far, no mess or red explosions, though I shouldn't say that. It's just tempting fate. Want some oil just to help it emulsify. I have to say, I do think you need to use a blender for this. If you use a processor, it tends to chop the beetroot into teeny, teeny, teeny pieces and makes it grainy rather than smooth. That is it. There's just something about the sweetness of the beetroot with the edge of lime against the saltiness of the halloumi. Yippee. Staggeringly, this wasn't at all messy. Not quite so optimistic about my next task, which is a bit of craft work, and I'm not talking 80s electro pop. I am armed and dangerous, though probably only to myself. This is a candle gouger, and I was given it in the spirit of irony, but I am determined now, after many years just leaving it on a shelf, to start using it. Okay, it's going in. Oh my gosh, it's really working.
Let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going.
I know my friends will think I've gone mad, but maybe I have. Anyway, here is one. How beauteous is that?
Fire is slowly dying.
I have to say, I am aware that I may have bought a one-way ticket to NAF Central, but there's no turning back now. I plan to embark on a cucumber car. So, stage one of Operation Decoration is accomplished. And these shall illuminate my party tonight. I know these look like miniature knitting needles, but in fact they are to spare any passing sausage or meatball, as indeed are these. These are my seasonal jelly beans, very festive. And I know that I have cooked something sweet for people anyway, but this is treat season. These miniature loaves are to dunk into the sauce for the meatballs. I want my bread bundled and beribboned. And now I have nuts to attend to. I've got out my party appetizer plates and I've filled them with nuts, which always goes down well at a party. And my seasonal scene is set. Right, let's see where I've got to with myself. Done a lot. Thing is, I seem to have everything decorated except for myself. So there's a bit of last-minute prinking to the food needed, but actually, rather more work needs to be done on me, so onwards and upwards. Right, my final festive push. Okay, let's get the meatballs there for Mo. And I'm going to use, as I like to at this time of year, another foil throwaway tray. If you're using an ordinary, baking tin, I really suggest you line it with foil, just because the sugar in the ginger jam will cause a little bit of burning. I'm going to put them in the oven at 180 degrees for 45 minutes because they're quite packed together. And while they're in the oven, I can be heating up the meatballs.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane.
And now, don't laugh, but a bit of bread sculpture. I'm going to fashion a bowl for my sausages out of this loaf of bread. So I'm just cutting a kind of lid off. I think it does have to be a round loaf, but obviously, since you're not eating the crumb, it doesn't actually matter what type of bread. I can't quite believe I've become someone who turns fruit into candles and loaves of bread into bowls. If I start crocheting, please call for help. So the sausages will go in, but I'll tell you what I'm really looking forward to. This bit of crust, when all the fat from the sausages has just oozed into it. Okay, so that's done, and I'm now going to have a riot with the gingerbread. I'm first going to cut it. And let's see how many I can get down. I can't quite believe I've managed to make so many pieces. I know they're small, but actually gingerbread is so rich, so deeply spiced, that it doesn't feel like a meagre helping. Anyway, I think I've got enough for several pieces for each person coming. And they'll go. So now my gingerbread territory gets a bit of forestation. Let's get a tree there, maybe a cluster. This is becoming now a Bavarian winter scene. And where shall my last one go? I think maybe here. And now, hello again. It's that time of year. And you can place it this way. And you can go here. Anyway, onwards and upwards, and even more over the top. It's gonna snow. Every year is the year I say I am not going to bring out my fir trees and my deer, but I always do. Right, I'm on a roll. Beetroot and halloumi next. I love halloumi. I mean, it's incredibly easy to cook as well, which is good. You just must never put any oil in a pan as you fry it. So in other words, you're griddling it. It needs about a minute aside, and then it's scorched and ready to eat. The reason I'm choosing radicchio is that each bit of leaf kind of forms a cup, so that I can put the halloumi in and people at the party can eat just like this, without any cutlery or plates. Let's have a look and see if the halloumi is ready to turn. Perfect. I only wanted a bit golden because I don't want to scorch all the snowy whiteness out. You know, as far as last minute preparation goes for a party, this is about as easy as it gets. Right, I think we're plating up, or plattering up, really. There we go. Loading up the leaves. And now, a bit of blobbing with my berry red beetroot. Actually, you know, I have read, I never know whether these things are true or not, that beetroot is very good for cleansing the liver, which I feel is quite useful at this time of year. Now the final touch, my little fronds of dill. This makes so much difference, not only to the taste, but to the festive appearance.
Merry Christmas.
Right, that's done. No more dilly-dallying, so sausages into the bread casket, turkey meatballs into bowls, and I, once my oven gloves are off, am ready to party. That's the sound you want to hear at the beginning of a party. I'm making a cocktail that's inspired by something I came across via an Italian friend of mine. She calls it Prosecco Sporco, which literally means dirty Prosecco. Prosecco is Italian fizzy wine. I thought really a better translation, dirty Prosecco didn't do it for me, was filthy fizz. And I'm dirtying mine up with a slight stain of black raspberry liqueur. It's not too sweet, which is perfect, because really this should have a bitter edge. Guys, get something in early doors. It's some grilled halloumi with a beetroot and lime puree.
Oh, I love a bit of squeaky cheese.
Okay, I have some turkey meatballs and tomato sauce. I come bearing good news. Oh, wow. And sausages.
It's blimey.
In a bread casket. Firstly, I'm saving up for the bread. I might just have one now, actually. Do we have forks and plenty?
I'm not going to be shy.
Can I have a parting of the rain? There we are. If I could sing a carol, I would, but there you are.
Fantastic.
Now that's what I call a successful evening.